And my name is Emma. Today we're going to make a beef and vegetable chili. Chili is a very versatile recipe and can be prepared to your preference and convenience. If you'd like a vegetarian version, simply take out the beef and add another can of beans. You can also use frozen or canned vegetables if you don't have fresh vegetables.
Today we will be using a combination of canned and fresh vegetables. Now I'm going to dice the onion. So when you're cutting an onion, the first step is this side is what you cut off first. And then you flip it where the flat side is down, so it's easiest, and you just cut it right in half. Then you're going to peel off this top layer. Alright, and then first you're going to make little slits but not go all the way to the end, so you just kind of cut down throughout this. Just go like that, and then you will put your hand flat on top to make sure you don't cut your hand or fingers, and just cut halfway through, and then hold it all together, and make sure you kind of curl your fingers so you don't cut them, and just cut down and dice the onion.
Alright, looks good.
You're gonna oil the pan, pot. Add the onion.
Alright, and I just went to the fridge and I got our beef. We're going to be using a pound of beef in our chili. So we just kind of plop it on in there. Set that to the side. And you're going to want to break up the beef into small pieces so it cooks faster. So right now, it's kind of like a bright pinkish red color. As it cooks, it's going to turn into that characteristic kind of gray-brown color. And you're going to want to stir this about maybe every minute until it's cooked. After handling the beef, I just went and washed my hands. It's really important not to get that cross-contamination with your fresh vegetables. So now I'm going to start with cutting the zucchini. We're going to use one zucchini in the recipe. So to cut a zucchini, you start by cutting off each end. So the middle of the zucchini actually gets really mushy in a chili. So we're going to cut that part out by going around the ends like this. You're going to want to go about 2/3 in, or 1/3 in to the zucchini. Put the flat side down, cut another third, flat side down, another third, until you get just the inside to take out. So now that we got our pieces, I'm going to dice them by cutting them into smaller strips. And then just line them all up like this to finish the dicing. The zucchini is kind of slippery, so you might want to go slow with this. Alright, so I'll move that to the side for now. So next we're going to dice our garlic. You're going to start by cutting off the brown end. I'll move that to the side. Now you'll put your garlic at the end of the cutting board. You're going to have your knife flat like this and smash it down. After that, you're just going to push it forward and run your knife through as much as you want to until it's the consistency you want it minced. You're going to be careful not to cut your fingers. Maybe brush it off with your knife a couple of times.
The beef is almost done. There is still some pieces that are kind of red, but we just want to make sure it's all brown before we move on to the next step. Alright, so the meat is just about done cooking. So first we are going to drain the grease. And it is important to drain the grease so that it doesn't clog your drain because it hardens when it is not warm. So to do that, there are a few methods to drain the grease, but I'm just going to push all of the beef over to one side in the pot and then kind of tip it a little bit so that you can kind of spoon the grease out. Thank you, Emma. So then you just take spoonfuls and just make sure you get all the grease out. Alright, so now that we're done with that, we can put in the zucchini and garlic that Emma just chopped up for us. So we're just going to add it all. Here's the garlic. Okay, and then you just want to stir it all together.
So we're going to be using chili powder, cumin, and cayenne powder as our seasonings for the chili today. You can use more seasonings if you like. A lot of people will also add paprika or onion powder. Some people will also replace the cayenne powder with fresh serrano and add that in with the garlic, or they might use chipotle powder, which is personally how I like to make my chili. If you don't think that you will be using these particular seasonings again, you can actually buy a packet of chili at the store and just use that as a one-time seasoning for the chili, and that can save you some money in the long run. So we're gonna put our chili powder in now, the cumin, and the cayenne, and we're just gonna mix that all together. Now cayenne's very spicy, so we're only gonna be using 1/8 of a teaspoon of that. Any more and you might burn off your mouth.
Alright, now we are going to add the vegetables, and for the canned vegetables, you're going to want to remember to drain them before. We already did this, but with the crushed tomatoes and the tomato sauce, we did not drain them, just to have the extra flavor. Alright, and we're adding some corn, which we already drained as well. Oopsies. Actually, I'll put that. It's important to remember to rinse your beans, especially the black beans. So after you drain them, just make sure you rinse it until you can't see the color of the beans in the water anymore. And then we're also going to add some kidney beans. Oh. And then we also have some beef broth here that we are going to add just to make it a little more soupy.
So now that I've got my chili nice and thoroughly mixed together, I'm going to turn up the heat to high and wait for it to get to a boil. Alright, so this is what your chili is going to look like once it reaches a boil. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and turn it down to a simmer. So that'll be about a medium-low on your stovetop. And we'll let this simmer for 30 minutes uncovered. So remember to stir the chili about every 5 minutes while it's simmering. Alright, so 30 minutes later, our chili is looking really good. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the heat so the simmer can go ahead and stop. I went ahead and took a little sample, and I think we're going to add some salt and pepper now, so I'm just going to add a pinch of the pepper. And it tastes pretty salty with the broth, so I'm just going to add a pinch of salt as well. And give that a stir. Now our last ingredient to the chili is spinach. So we're going to go ahead and toss that inside. You might want to do a little bit at a time and stir so that it's not falling out of your pot. Spinach will cook very quickly in this hot chili. So that's the reason you want to just go ahead and put it in towards the end. Might go ahead and just dump the whole thing at this point. And we'll do halves.
All right, well now I'm going to show you how to cut the cilantro. So first you're going to want to take it in your hands and kind of make it into a ball and just form it all together as best as you can. It's kind of difficult, but in the end it'll all work out. And then you just take the knife and just quickly cut the cilantro. And then you just kind of turn it in a few different directions and cut as fast as you can. All right, and our chili is ready to eat, but first we're going to add some toppings. So we chose to add some sour cream. You can add as much as you would like. Here you go, Emma.
Thank you.
And some cheese. Just sprinkle it on top. And then also some fresh cilantro that we chopped up earlier. And the nice thing about chili is, like Emma mentioned at the beginning, it's very versatile, so you can add none of these toppings if you want, all of them plus some. Some people like to put some chips or tortilla chips on top, or avocado, whatever you like.
It's pretty good.
Very tasty. And this is a high protein and high vegetable meal, and you can obviously make it in bulk, so it's very easy and convenient, and you can have a lot of it and get your protein and veggies in.